What's up? What's happening, Honey Badger Nation? Man, thank you guys for jumping in and hanging out with us again today. We had so much fun last week. We wanted to do it again. So here we are.
I like it. I like it.
What's up, guys?
Man.
Happy Thanksgiving, man.
Hey, yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, man. A lot to be thankful for. That's for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what's good?
Man, it's funny, man. So I'm gonna hit everybody with some real talk today because and this comes from Carlos because let me ask you this question. So over the years, how much training did we do in sales training for our agents, role play, scripting, boot camps? How much of that did we do in our office to become successful?
Committed hours upon hours. I would say, I like the two-prong approach, right? Internal and external. So internally, we trained 3, 4, 5 hours a week. And then externally, we pushed them to get plugged into something, right?
Right.
Ultimately it was Kinder Reese, NAEA, that was our external training, or we were going through Jordan Belfort, or we were going through something. So that's an additional 3, 4, 5 hours on top of that as well. So, you could easily double digits every week on training. Right.
So let me ask you this. So you got 2 or 3 Ironmans under your belt now.
I got 2, and I got 2 more on the calendar. So it'll be hopefully 4.
That's amazing. And so do you do any training for that?
About 14 hours every week.
Okay. So about 14 hours a week in training. All right. So is it safe to say that you're investing in that process, right? And probably investing in it. Have you ever invested in a coach?
I've got a couple right now. Yes.
A couple coaches. Okay. So it seems to me that what we've learned over the years is that training, specifically on whatever the goal is been something that makes a difference in the outcome, and even to another level, having a coach. So, 100%. And so, I was talking to Carlos, and Carlos was the first person to join EXP under us.
Give some context for everybody listening in who might not really be familiar with Carlos's story, and like he's one of the guys that has invested and believed in us. There's a really, like, he might be one of the top people that, we have a pretty good, I can put a big handful of people together that have invested with us and trusted in us as much, but Carlos is one of them. Right.
Right.
But give some context around Carlos. So I want everybody to understand it, because I was Holly and I were talking about this last night about Carlos, and think about day one, right? His story and coming,
Well, you coached him, so you coached him for a lot of that period. So go ahead and tell his part of the story, and then I want to cover the next part.
Yeah. So Carlos, coming to the country and really just having to figure it all out, right? And just the biggest thing that I would say with Carlos is that just the never-ending relentless pursuit of even our mantra that there's got to be a better way, right? He never settled for this is good enough. And his business was heavily built. He cracked the code on internet leads, during the internet lead days when that code was hard to crack. And he cracked that code, man. And he built a really good business that was providing a lifestyle really well for him. But he never settled, right? It was always pushing, always getting better, committed to the process, committed to getting clear on his vision. Hey, okay, do I want to go this ISA route? I don't know. Let me come to Dallas and spend 5 days with you guys at ISA boot camp, right? Hey, right. What are we doing here, right? And so that's one of the things that's impressed me with Carlos, and obviously, he's got great support with Rosemary and their little one Hector and everything. So it's really amazing, when you see that never settling in his business, and sometimes blind faith, believing in trusting the process. And that's what I would say. I would say, clear on the vision and trust the process. And that's what Carlos did really well.
Right. For sure. And so to us, Carlos is a badass. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just how I see him as a badass. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been one of the most diligent at trusting the process, following the process, doing the work, getting the results, continuing to grow. And he's been with us for a long, long time. And so, and in my mind, that's how I think of Carlos. And so we posted, and this video is posted up, and it's pinned to the top of the Honey Badger group right now. We shot it last night, and it's an invitation to an event. But it's in the conversation, Carlos, he basically, is making the case for, hey man, I'm kind of just the average guy that basically has built a downline of 1,000 people now. And I don't look at him as average because I've seen what he's become and who he's become, and him and Rosemary and their path and their journey. To me, they're rock stars, right? I mean, that's just how I view them. But he was making a point that he didn't have all this influence. He didn't have, all these connections, all these relationships, or anything special that it would correlate to being able to build 1,000-person team at EXP. And he started going through all of the first thing he did, which was the first thing we did, which was we started sniffing around network marketing and trying to figure out what we didn't know, because we knew that we probably didn't know some stuff. And lo and behold, network marketing, that is the compensation model for network marketing, which is the same compensation model that's been adopted, and applied to EXP's opportunity. There is a completely different approach to building teams that way. And there's a whole community of people out there that are experts at it and that you can learn from. And I started, as he's talking about all this and how he went to the best, just like he did in real estate. And he came to us and he went all in. And ultimately he's coaching with Eric Worre, and he'd been a part of this mastermind. He's been telling me about how great it is. And so he said, I learned all these strategies and all these things that other people just weren't learning because they weren't investing in agent attraction. And he was talking about how very few people, it seems to me, are investing in the skills and learning agent attraction. And it resonated with me yesterday, because I told like 3 people yesterday to go to agentattractiontraining.com, and they never had gone through that training either, right? And so like, we all know, and most of the most successful people that you'll find have invested in training. We all have. And yet the biggest opportunity in our lifetime is right in front of us, and most of us haven't role played one time with somebody. Okay, haven't invested $1 into agent attraction itself, into learning the skill and the sales training that you can go through. It's abundant out there that we could be going through, and we haven't done any. Even myself, I'm guilty. I mean, I bought all the books, went through all the books, but in terms of mastery level, and again, mastery is that 10,000 hours, but getting really good at something only takes 20 hours. Have you put 20 hours in of training on agent attraction and doing that?
And the answer is and the answer for most is no, right?
100%. Probably for all of us, even the ones that know this, even including me. And so, I wanted to go to the Eric Worre event. Didn't make it for 2 years in a row, and now this year the event is virtual, and it happened to work out in the calendar this year. It had been up against boot camp every time, and just didn't work out. But it was just an aha. It was an aha moment for me as I'm thinking about, like, we all say we want it, right? We all say we want it really bad. We all say that we're out there doing it, and the truth is we're not. Our actions aren't aligned with what we're saying that we all want. You know what I'm saying? That's
it right there, man.
Right.
That's powerful. I'm looking right now. I saw, Carlos making those that made the investment, and I see 3, Todd as well, but I see a few that popped up, right? Cliff Freeman, right? Veronica Figueroa, Cindy Featherstone, right? So I'm like, success leaves clues. And
right.
So, you see those that are committed to not having, I think it's the vulnerability to know you ain't got shit figured out, but that somebody does. And where can I invest in them? Right. It's the mentor, right? Who can I mentor under to give me the model of success and get me into the environment of people that's going to help me accomplish and take advantage of the opportunity that is in front of us. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah, man. It's absolutely, it was just a big get for me. And here was the biggest thing when Carlos said it. I was like, man, I wish you would have started with that. He said, imagine there's probably in your group, I don't care if you got 10 people or you got 20 people or you got 200 people or you got 500 people or you got 2,000 people. Imagine that there's probably 3 people just like me that are capable of growing a 1,000 person team in your group right now. And they just don't even know that the training exists. And you're the leader that's leading these people. And are you inviting those? Did you share this? If you're going to be there, did you share it with your top 10 people that you know could become 1,000 people in your downline? And
right.
And that's a powerful thing to think, right? Like if you look at my front line, everybody thinks, oh, well, Jay, that's just because it's you, whatever. Not true. It's not. First of all, Carlos built himself into a 1,000 person team leg in my group. And there's probably not more than 2 or 3 people that have more than 5 in my whole entire front line of 48 people, right? There's a handful of teams that might have more, but that have actually gone out and done the work and have truly been leading others to build an empire here at EXP. It doesn't exist necessarily in my front line. It exists at different places and under other people. And sure, it grew and it's approaching 4,500 now. But this can be engineered, folks. Like there are people that are capable, that are leaders and that can be led, but you got to be a leader and you got to lead from the front. You got to be going to these events. You got to be inviting those people that are spending more time selling houses and not any time on agent attraction or not enough time on agent attraction. They got sucked back into their business, into that whirlwind instead of focusing on the opportunity. And so it was just, to me, it was just, I saw where Carlos was leading and doing a better job than I was doing. And I just want to continue to echo what he's saying, which is, you got to get your leaders invested into learning how to, do agent attraction. I mean, it's not as intuitive as one might think. Right. And what to say, how to say it, and how to build those leaders and get those leaders to lead others to do that as well. And duplication is what this is all about. And so, I think we probably, plowed through content, vacuum up the good stuff as fast as anybody. And we did a little bit of that, but we haven't been leading our other people to do the same thing. And it was just a big get for me. So, I encourage you to invest in yourself and pour yourself into it. It's worth it. I mean, it's just, there's, right now we're sitting at whatever it is, 38,000 agents. 2 years from now, when we're sitting here having this conversation and our checks are 800,000 a month, what I'm saying? Like, how many of you are going to be like, man, I wish I'd have got on that bandwagon then, when the opportunity isn't the same. And so, there's going to be a couple 100,000 people that join in the next 2 to 3 years. And they got to go under somebody. There ain't no way else to join the company. You got to go under somebody. Right. So it might as well be under you or under somebody that you're leading to lead others. I mean, come on,
I love that. And I think that would be the challenge for everybody, myself included, is make the decision, right? And understand, decision, means to cut off, right? Like make the decision, like cut off all the bullshit that doesn't align to, the bigger opportunity that's in front of us. And, you don't have to know it all. I mean, Eric Ore is the guy, right? Yeah, and so,
the man.
Pay attention to that, but also, being a part of this network, being a part of this community, the Honey Badger Nation, like you've got the support to lean on. You don't have to figure it out all on your own. And, I was talking to, we've got, the Fosters and Scott Vosberg, they're incredible clients and just true students. We were looking at their upline today. And I was like, you guys might have the best upline and like use it. Right. And so I challenge all of you guys, and that was one of my big takeaways. I think a Brent Gove takeaway from EXPCon was, if you're really committed and serious about agent attraction, like, do you have a text thread with your upline? Do you have direct communication? Do you even know who your direct upline is? And so like I was walking through with them and there was like Kyle Whistle, Dan Beer, Curtis Johnson, Chuck Fazio, Mike Reese, Jay Kinder, Al Stasek. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
And so like are you leveraging, the people that are here to support you? And this is collaborative. This is not competition. And I think, it's Dan Sullivan, right? And he talks about is like competition's for losers. Competition, you win with collaboration. And you guys we have the best network to lean on. Like, we don't have to figure it out, right? Like, ask questions. And that's what I love about this. Like, the Honey Badger Nation has become a community. It's not a group, it's a community. Yep. And, when people pour in, that's when you've got something special. You've got a great community. And, with Carlos bringing that value, I mean, that just shows you, one, who he is as a person, but also, like, guys, I'm just trying to put the best information out there to help us all succeed. And it's like, dude, I'm throwing you a life preserver. Are you going to grab it or not?
Right.
Just grab it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we got a few few questions coming in. So
Go ahead. And I want to circle back because on the original post, like when StreamYard, when you go live, it separates out the post. So there's two separate posts. So the original post, there was a question as well. We'll circle back to that, but I'm going to let you let's run through these questions here. Yeah.
So favorite script for inviting a recruit to the weekly webinar. Me personally, because here's the thing, I'm looking for someone who's opportunity driven, right? I'm not looking for someone who's not, right? I'm looking for someone who wants opportunity and is open-minded about opportunity. And so, and the reason I say that is because if I get somebody there, here's the thing: if you could get somebody to come join based upon we can help them sell more houses. I don't think. There ain't no damn place on the planet you could ever land other than this Honey Badger group at EXP if you wanted to sell more real estate that would be any better than landing here. There's zero doubt in my mind if that's the case or not. And so I can find people all day long that want to sell more real estate and that would probably join over because of our ability to help solve their problem, whatever it may be, and sell more real estate. That's easy. Who I'm looking for is the person that's looking for an opportunity and that's open-minded about it. And so if I ask the question, I just my personal favorite is, are you making as much money as you'd like to make selling real estate? Are you? And if that person's open-minded and they're hungry, the answer to that's going to be no, I'd like to be making more. Well, I think I have an opportunity that you might be interested in. If I was to send you a link, would you be willing to take a look at it? Okay. And when would you be able to take a look at it by? Well, let's say, I could probably watch it, tonight. Okay. So if I called you tomorrow, you would have for sure watched it then. Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Then I'll give you a call. So I'll give you a call out tomorrow afternoon just to give you enough time. But take a look at it and give me your feedback and let me know if there's something that might fit, be something that that would help you to accomplish your goals, right? Like to me, that's my favorite script. That's what I'm looking for. People that are looking for more. They want more. They want opportunity. They're gonna say yes to that. You know what I'm saying? And so, so that's my personal favorite script. So hopefully that was helpful. You don't ask me to type it up because you can rewind this video and you can type it up and do it yourself. Yeah. Not to mention that's and I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say because it's not true necessarily with the way I'm thinking about it. But go through the training. This stuff has all been said before too. Go through the training, go through the scripts. There's a script that's in a document in the group that you can search. If you search for, I think it's 8-step appointment script or something along those lines, but it's in there. Look through the docs. Go through agentattractiontraining.com. All of that stuff is there. All the scripts are there. If you didn't know that, it's because you haven't committed to the training, right? So so do that. So you want to circle back to that other question?
I think that's I love that. Right. And, this is a relationship game, cause you and I've been saying this from day one, from jump, right? It's their relationship, give a shit, right? Like find out what their problem is and do you like, honestly, and I want to back up for a second, man, because I hear this over and over and over again. And it's the false belief that they can't help somebody else. And that's not true. Mm-hmm. And so you have to, if you genuinely care about another human being, you're asking questions on what are they stuck with? What are they wrestling with? What's keeping them up at night? And, just like you gave that context, it's like, man, I think I have this, I know I have a solution for you. are you open-minded? It might not be for you, but
right.
if I would you. And so understanding, those keywords, the scripts are in the Facebook group. They're there. It's just are you willing to commit and seek what is already there? And like this is an abundance mindset community. And I don't know how many people that I hear like, yeah, I just got off the phone with Veronica. Yeah, she was super helpful. We talked for over an hour. And I was like,
right.
Like people think people are not like, they're not going to be willing to give you your time. And so that's another myth, false belief.
Right.
Like find what's there. The training is there, commit to the training and really go through it. And then if you're stuck, feel free to reach out to those that are paving the way in front of us. Carlos, like if you hit Carlos up, he'll get on the phone with you and talk to you all day. I just know he will.
All the leaders in this group are wired that way. It's an abundance mindset and it's leadership. This is how we grow. This is by helping you. You say it like this is the best business model I've ever seen. I was reading through Charlie Munger's almanac, right? You know the almanac, right? The blue one, the big thick one. You probably got it there somewhere. And it was right there. Sure enough, it's a big one, right? It's got lots of pictures though, thankfully. But I was just it was either Braden or Carson said something about it, and they said, "What's an almanac?" And I was like, "The hell, what is an almanac?" I'm not even sure I know what an almanac is. In the moment, I was like, "What is an almanac? What the hell?" And so it explains what the almanac in the first of that book and everything. But as I was reading through it, it goes back to he goes back to that same principle. They go and he said he goes on to talk about he said I believe that I probably have an awareness in the top 5% of human beings around the bias around compensation misalignment. He said, yet I still find myself regularly underestimating its power and the power of financial alignment and compensation alignment. And this business model is the greatest example of it, right? Like every person is so valuable because it's the whole thing, right? Like if I help you and that helps the person that's above you and that person and that person, then I'm going to help you, right? Like it only makes financial sense. There's 3 people that I could lose if I don't help you. I want to help you. So because everybody wins. And so it's just a great financial business model. And that's why, we're all trying our best to help as much as we can because we have you could be the difference in me making $50,000 a month. That's one person could be that difference. If I sponsored you, that's how valuable every single one of you are. Because if one of you leaves and you're number 40, then I drop down to 39. Then unfortunately for me, I cost myself $50,000 a month in revenue share. That's crazy, but that's the kind of value that this compensation model can create. And so it forces us to focus on helping people, and what a beautiful thing, right? Like,
because unpack the Warren Buffett story from when you guys went, and I don't think people get this enough. I know we've talked about it and understanding, the power of compensation, but share that story that Warren talked about when they were asking him about, was it Bank of America or something?
Yeah. So somebody Google Charlie Munger's 25 biases. Right, like that. There's a website for it, and I think there's a download probably easily, or just somebody that could post it in the group. Doesn't matter if it be you, John, or anybody else. But and so we read through these, many times, and understood, most of them, but didn't act on all of those principles all the time. And the one again that shows up the most was always the misalignment and compensation, and it's a bias that we don't think that it matters as much as it really truly does. And when you're compensating for the wrong things, you get the wrong kind of behavior. So you want to compensate for the right things, get the right behavior. And so anyways, so Ryan Stewman calls me up and he's like, "Hey man, you want to take a private jet to go to Warren Buffett, the shareholder meeting?" I always wanted to go. I have one share. At the time I had one share. Somebody gifted me like a share. I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, I'll go."
That was a great gift too. I'll give them props for giving you that gift.
Yeah, for sure. And so I said, I'll go. So, a handful of his clients, we flew private into Omaha, and we see all the jets, lined up out there. It was crazy, how many jets were there. we get there and it's a packed auditorium, full house. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't research it ahead of time. I just wanted to experience it. And so we get there. There's not an empty. We couldn't even sit together. There was no empty seats anywhere. And it's my first time, and they're playing this video, and I realize what they're doing. This is a sales pitch. Like, they're selling you on Berkshire Hathaway and the companies that they have, and they have all these spoofs and all these celebrities that show up in the introduction video. It's like going to a seminar where they play a video at the beginning, like we used to the AGS, and so they go through all this stuff, and then Warren and Charlie are down center stage. They're eating Seeds candy and drinking Coca-Colas at 95 and 97 years old. Like, I'm just like, this is unbelievable to me, like what I'm watching here. And then everybody in the audience can ask questions. And so this was back when Wells Fargo had this Wells Fargo had this this big to-do that was going on, and they had all these fake accounts that got created. And because there was an incentive that had these different whatever positions they are in the bank were creating. They were creating all these fake accounts so they could get this incentive. And so this guy says, "Hey, so since Wells Fargo is in all this trouble, where are you going to start banking now? Like, trying to get a lead on what bank you can invest in, is because they surely are going to leave Wells Fargo over this, right? Like, they're not going to just continue to support this bank that has this huge operational inefficiency and problem and scandal going on." And so Warren didn't even blink. He basically said, "Yeah, what?" He goes, "We're probably going to get a phone call tomorrow from another one of our companies we invest in. It's going to do something stupid, and it's just going to happen. It happens all the time." He's like, "But I'm going to throw the baby out with the bathwater." He's like, "Wells Fargo's a good company. It's been around 100-something years, and when I find out that there's a problem, something like this happens, I always look to what was the misalignment in compensation that drove that behavior." And that was just his answer, right? And then Munger's always like, he's like, "I have nothing to add." Like, that's his, when he does, like, he's known for that. He's known for "I have nothing to add," or if he adds something, you better listen up because it's going to be good, right? And so, like, Munger is he tends to not have a whole lot to add, but that was they both were just so matter of fact, and this is not a problem. This was just a misalignment in compensation that drove the wrong behaviors, and it's such a powerful thing when it's done correctly. Which this is Glenn was noted as saying that we're going to make this opportunity so big that the right people are going to join us and help us grow this company. And that's exactly what's happening. And, that's because of this compensation model. And, I still think most people don't understand it. They still don't understand that network marketing isn't a bad thing, and that the compensation model is a very good thing. It's a very good thing. It is, and it's word of mouth sales is all network marketing is. Instead of taking a product to market through retail or some other way, it's just word of mouth. And the way this company grows is word of mouth through the agents who tell other agents. It's the same, the principles align. And so that's why network marketing training is so powerful. And I'm talking about all this because I want everybody that hears what we're talking about to sign up for the damn event and invest 3 days in becoming better at agent attraction. I'm going to do it. I want to see other leaders do the same. And that's what, if you're serious, you're willing to invest in yourself. If you're not serious, then show me. We used to say, you tell me you're investing in your relationships in your business, but show me your P&Ls where you're making those investments. Remember, we used to talk about that. Like, either you're either investing in the relationships you have with all your clients and all your sphere of influence and all your people, or there's not a line item in your P&Ls that shows you're investing in those relationships. And for most of us, there's not. We're all trying to get new business and not focus on that investing in your current business. Yep. Yeah. So, but anyhow.
Hey, so I'm going to just kind of give some context to James' question on the original post. And for all of you guys listening in, what Jay's referring to is the conversation that had with Carlos, and it is pinned at the top of the Honey Badger group. So it's in, you can also go to announcements. It's the pinned post there. It's in the announcements portion here inside of the Facebook group. So James Adams was made a post last night on the question, just kind of mindset management, and starting to see things a little bit sooner, but still struggling to kind of turn things around a little bit, and what do we kind of turn to mentally, you know, the mental frowns upside down and regain your state? Share what's kind of works for you. I'll give a little context what works for me, and maybe we can you know, give James some good insight.
Yeah. So I think most of us have misguided expectations as to what the results should look like, right? So you know, and Bryant Melton, his post here is a great example. He said, I almost gave up after 5 months in goose eggs, no agents. Yep. And then after 7 months, you know, he has 10 agents. And he said, I'm either terrible but trying hard, or it just takes time. And so, yeah, and it does. And again, you know, when you go back and look, you know, of the agents I brought into the company in 3 years, I averaged 3 a month. I didn't average 10 a month. I averaged 3 a month. And so, you know, it's not always going to be a lot of agents. The door floodgates don't come open and just everybody joins you. And so it does start off slow, and that's okay. And so, you know, as far as managing mindset, you know, if you call 10 FSBOs, what is your expectation? You going to get all 10 of them? Is that what you expect? That's probably not realistic, right? And same thing with if you call 10 expireds. If you go back and look at your own history of what you've done to become successful, there's a lot of no's it takes to get to yeses, and that should be the expectation. But you're not looking for everybody. You know, I think when you really get clear on who you're looking for, you know what I'm saying, you're sifting through the no's like that's another no, it's another no, it's another no. And you know, my favorite story, I hate to be in story mode all this whole time, but it's a great story. And it was one of Al's agents that came up to us at a boot camp, and he was all kind of quiet, and he came up to me and said, hey man, I want to tell you a story. And Darren Hardy had been speaking at our EGS events, and this was like the first boot camp after that. And Darren had shared a similar story. He said he took his son to about go. It was really about go for no, and you know, the pendulum has to swing first to failure before it can swing to success. And the more you swing to failure, the more it swings to success. The more it swings to failure, the more it swings to success. And you can't push to success. You have to push to failure to get to success. And it's so true, right? Like how many no's you have to get to the yeses is part of the process. You just got to fall in love with the process. But he was telling a story. He said, I told my son, you know, we had to go sell Boy Scout cookies or Girl Scout cookies, whatever it was, at the like the local Sam's or Costco or whatever. And he told his son, he was 7 years old. He said, hey, our goal is to get 100 no's today. We're going to get 100 no's. He didn't tell him the goal was to sell all the cookies. He told him the goal was to get 100 no's. And so as people would come in, he would be like, Dad, I got another no. I got another no. And as the people would, you know, they would come in, like he was all excited about the no. So on the way out, you know, they would come and the kid was getting frustrated because people kept buying the cookies. And so he's like, he would still, you know, he said like, we got 80 no's, Dad, we got 80 no's. And so they counted all the way to the end. And you know, the kid was learning how to get excited to get the no's because the yeses come from getting no's. And that was his big story. You know, he was tearing up. I was tearing up. I was like, dude, that's awesome. Like, hope your son remembers that lesson forever. They sold out all the cookies the first time they'd ever done it before. And they did it in half the time that they normally would have been there all day. And they did it by like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And so they did it by focusing on the no's and not focusing on that one, that I need to get 3 yeses today. No, you need to get 97 no's. That's kind of how you get to the 3 yeses. And so I think that mindset is what you have to adopt. You got to fall in love with, the process and know that, you know, not everybody's going to be interested, and not everybody is a good fit. And, you know, I talk to people all the time that aren't a good fit, and you know what? On to the next one. That's man. Move on past it and go to the next one. So
yeah, man, it's funny. I was thinking about this earlier, maybe over the weekend or something, and it was around the whole participation thing. You know what I mean? And you know, when you only get rewarded for the actual success, you know, and so this kind of making me, as you were talking about that, right? You know, focusing on what's within your control, and you know, asking the question is within your control, right? Not getting fixated on, you know, making the sales and you know, that end result, but really paying attention to what's within your control that you can measure, right? Let's get 100 no's. That's within your control because you get to ask and keep asking and asking until you get to that point. But you know, we all, you know, and I think struggle with, you know, how what's the whole thing, right? We don't see things how they are. We see them how we are. And so if you feel that way, then that's how you see things. And then now you're starting to compare yourself with the false reality that is social media. And then, so now you're starting to compare yourself with others. I think some of the key things too, that kind of can help fight that off is really pay attention to your circle. I give so much credit to, how tight our circle was and pushing each other constantly to get better. Right. And this goes back to training. This goes back to investing in yourself, right? Like how many years and hours did we invest in things, consuming and going through the stuff to help our mindset, right? Think about that.
It never ends. There's two things that never end. I believe in. One is, the personal growth, your personal development, and seeking knowledge in all areas, like being an expert, knowing what you're doing. And, those are things that are ongoing forever. It never ends, right? Like, I still play Jim Rohn in the mornings before the kids go to school, before they're able to pick up their iPads. We're going to listen to some Jim Rohn for 10 minutes, and we'll put some good shit in your head before the day starts. Because if I don't, what I hear is them fighting, my wife fighting with them. They're on their iPads, not listening. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, I'm the leader of the household here. I can either complain to Amber about her leadership skills, or I can just be a better leader. Right.
Yeah.
And so, you got to be always, personal development has to be a part of the day, every day, man. And then pouring that in, I think you just nailed it. And, like you talked about the pendulum, you got to push one side to get it to swing to the other. And so that's even focusing on the renewal, right? The power of full engagement. I mean, that was like one of the best books ever. Yeah.
And, it's like, you've got to focus on the recovery, and you got to do the things to make you stronger. So mentally, the renewal is like silence, prayer, meditation. So, where is that incorporated? I always fall back, you want to keep it simple, get the Miracle Morning for real estate agents and unpack the savers, right? If you implement the savers into your life will be exponentially better than you can even imagine. And so just to keep it simple, I think, I don't want to, we can dive a little bit deeper, but I don't think we need to. But James, that's where you got to go. It really is, man, just to continue to pour in. And, Pierre was asking about ISAs. Oh man. I mean, we all have our own takes on ISAs, right? And, they're looking at a third party company to book appointments for his agents, found a couple local ones in Ontario. Any advice that you would love to give on that piece?
This is a rabbit hole, man. I mean, I think we've done every possible variation. I mean, there's a couple things that I want you to think about. I think this is how we kind of evolved to, in terms of how we think about it is, first of all, it starts with your P&Ls and what are you trying to improve? What business unit are you trying to improve? Are you trying to improve your revenue per agent by having someone else do the job that they're not doing? And so in essence, John, when we used to, do, the Crabtree model, and we're looking at the return on investment. So you're putting labor dollar in place to improve upon what you only get 50% of the dollar, right? So how much can you improve your dollar, to the bottom line by investing, thousands probably into an ISA to make the calls, because the agents won't make the calls. And so, that's usually the problem that you're trying to solve, right? And so, we've gone from the agents have to make the calls to screw it, we'll get two ISAs and we'll have we had two badass ISAs at one point in office, Melissa and Victoria, setting. I mean, I don't remember, John, if you remember how many buyer appointments a day they were setting. Was ungodly. It was unbelievable how many they were setting buyer appointments for the agents, unlike anything I've ever seen. And I don't remember what the productivity per agent was, but it was real close to the exact same productivity when we had the agents making the calls. We were just spending a lot more money. And I think the real issue is the agents that will make the calls are the agents that are like you. And then there's the rest of them that ain't nothing like you and ain't never going to be anything like you and ain't never going to make the calls, no matter what the hell you do, say, pay for, invest in. They're just not. And so, It just sucks that that's what it is, but you have to be aware of what it is. So if you're going to make an investment, like, first understand what you're trying to improve in terms of your profitability of your business model, and you're investing in something you can only get half the return on investment. The assumption is that they're going to be more efficient and they're going to close more deals. The reality is that you don't improve upon that 50% that they get, the time, effort, energy that they put into their sales business. It doesn't mean they're going to be more efficient just because you set the appointments for them. It doesn't mean they're going to follow up any better after they show them the first house. It doesn't mean that they're going to sell any more damn houses. And that's unfortunate, but it's true. And so you might invest a lot of money into trying to improve upon that business unit, the profitability of that business unit, and you may not get the same return. If you invested that on something on the listing side of the business, what we found was that the return on investment of someone making calls on the listing side was much greater, largely because I was going on those appointments, or at one point we had a salaried agent that that was going on those appointments. So it was almost as if it was me going on those appointments in terms of return on that investment of that labor dollar, right? So there's that. We could start with that, that one frame up of why we're investing in that in the first place, and what problem we're trying to solve, and what efficiencies we're trying to gain in the business model. Or we could also go to the fact that if I can't manage you and lead you, what I'm saying, then this is a discretionary effort position, in my opinion. Like you put discretionary effort towards the goal, and there you want to have. This goes back to compensation alignment. You can in my opinion, I made a post. I don't know if Pierre saw it or not. On my Facebook page the other day about an ISA and compensation alignment. And if you want to pay them on the back end, and you're trying to get leverage and get them to manage all of your listing appointments, because that's $10 an hour work, and you want to get some of that off your plate, which is usually your first ISA that you make that higher, John, as we've always talked about. There's things that you want to give them, but if you're giving them 10% off the bottom of every deal, what are they focused on? They don't change the outcome in whether you take that listing or not. They don't change that. Why do you want to focus on something that they're not doing? You want to focus on what they do control. A qualified appointment met. That is what they are 100% in control of the effort it takes to do that, accomplish that goal. And so that's where you want to have that discretionary opportunity for them. And that's where your ability to hire talent comes from, the opportunity to get somebody that's going to be probably half crazy. If they're an ISA, I think that's a prerequisite. They will have some problems.
Crazy.
They're going to have some problems, but they'll hit the phones like an animal if the opportunity makes sense. And so that compensation needs to be aligned to that. And so that's why I think that's the principle behind why I don't really care for hiring an outside company, because their discretionary effort for you, and then the other person that's a new client that they're not completely aligned to your success, the success for you, unless you make sure that that's how they're going to be compensated, instead of just, hey, we'll make this many hours of calls or whatever. That's just my 2 cents.
No, I love it, man. And what you said right there at the end is that most people, when they look for these outside, resources, they don't take the time to define success, right? It goes back to agreements versus expectations. And that's always my question when you hire them. I say, okay, so what is success? Where does their job start? Where does it stop? And are you okay with that success? And then it's just math. Mm-hmm. And, for us, lower price point market, we just couldn't make it. The math just never made sense unless, like you said, you're in production in that ISA. And where I tend to lean towards is that ISA wears multiple hats. And mm-hmm. one of those hats is that they become an executive assistant for you. Mm-hmm. And right. So keep in mind, executive assistant, their two primary jobs are communication in your calendar. So they become the gatekeeper to you. They become the gatekeeper to your calendar. All communication flows through them. So you have a consistent experience, a consistent flow. And so that's where I lean towards with the ISA. If you're still in production, that's the hat they become, right? They wear inbound, they wear outbound, they wear the sales development, the nurture piece. They wear executive assistant hat with communication. They wear executive assistant hat with managing and controlling your calendar. That's where I see the greatest return 100%. On that investment is if you structure it that way. Otherwise, it's hard for it to, it's just hard for it to make sense at that point.
Yeah. I mean, that's, dude, I don't know who all is going to get value out of that. I mean, anybody who's listening is going to get value out of it. Like what John just said is pure fucking gold. Okay. So like that is 100% the way you should be thinking about it. And here's why, because we suck when somebody calls you and you set and this is the thing, you don't want to give it up. I didn't either, but I knew I sucked at it. I'd be like, yeah, I'll be over there tomorrow. Then I would lose the damn, the call thing, you know what I'm saying? It would fall between the seats. I'd be like, holy shit, I didn't call that guy.
Or even worse, right? Because you just go and you didn't even qualify it.
Yeah, don't qualify the appointment at all, wasting my time. Like once you have that person, that right hand that's there, that you're like, listen, I'm going to have Dina give you a call and she'll get everything set up, right? Like now, boom, that's off your plate. You know what I'm saying? It's being managed. And it's, and again, like you said, the process is there. And so, yeah, that's, that first ISA hire should be to get you leverage, and it should get more things off your plate, and it should create more of an efficiency around the listing side of the business, because you get 100% of those dollars for much less of your own personal time. Meet with a seller, take a listing is, 3 hours of time versus 21 hours of time, as we've done this research before with the buy side. So you're gaining so much in labor efficiency. That it's just it's the number one hire you'll ever make if you do it right and you have the right job description that John just laid out for you.
Yeah, and something you just said right there too. I mean, we're not just speaking, hypothetically or from theory. Like, guys, we put the stopwatch to all of this. Like, we know with certainty the time. And that's why we always lean on you got to go after listings. You got to be listing centric, and those organizations that embrace that mindset. We've got two amazing clients right now. One's a solo agent. That's her only mindset is that everybody's a listing opportunity until I can prove that you're not. And then we've got a large team that they embrace that within an entire organization of 25 plus agents, that we're a listing centric organization. That's all we focus on is listings. And now, is their business about balanced listings and buyers? Yes, but their mentality is that everybody's a listing, everybody's a seller, because they understand the return on time, ROT. They understand that investment of their time and energy, where they're going to get the greatest return is around listings. And so, the other thing, yeah, Pierre, just trying to keep your agents happy and busy. Yeah, that's on them. The opportunity is there for them. I would look at a couple other things. I would look at, what is the accountability piece? How is the daily communication, the daily commitment, and then holding them to that. And then, yeah, I mean, it is a carrot. But yeah, I mean, it's a cost. I don't know if it's an investment.
Right.
A couple other things I want to rapid fire through here as we're running. I want to be, sensitive to everybody's time at the top of the hour. Scripts, guys, all your scripting questions, everything's inside there. Just jump in the files or make sure you go through agentattractiontraining.com. Go through that. All the scripts, everything's there.
Here too.
KW agent San Diego area who reached out regarding EXP. Good guy. We had a good conversation at the end. He asked for a slide presentation regarding EXP. Would you be the best presentation videos to put in front of him? Or is that hands off? No, man. Yeah. I mean, that's the video, right? Cuz
I here's what I know. First of all, our presentation that we use in this group is not it's not the same as just be joining EXP. So, I think there's leverage in that. So if I was going to send them the slides, I would send them. I'll say, listen, I'll do you one better than that. I know one of the top guys in the organization knows how to make all the money in this business model. I'm going to go ahead and send you the slides. But if I could get him to jump on a call, that way he can answer any questions you have, show you what we're doing that's different, and some of the additional value that you get when you join with us. Would you be willing to jump on that call? I would probably try to, because it sounds like this guy probably is interested or probably has questions. And you don't want to answer the questions. You always want to lean on a third party for the answering the questions part. So I would probably lean on trying to send them the slides, send them the video. I'm going to send you the slides. I want to send you a video, and that you probably haven't seen about EXP. and then I would be like, and once you watch the video, I'd love to get you on a call with one of the top people in the company. Again, everything goes back default to the script. There's not a best practice where sending the slides is something that we would suggest to do, right? Like, always go back to what's the process. This is important. Okay. Like if there's any, like, this. Man, so, we teach the process on the listing side of the business and through CHSA, and it's a process. And 9 times out of 10, if you go on 20 listing appointments and you are diligent about trying to follow the process and then figuring out where you didn't follow the process when you screw it up, you'll be, after 20 times, you will feel like you're invincible, that you could never lose again if you do what I told you, meaning coming back to the process and seeing if you followed it or where you fell off the process. Most everybody falls off the process somewhere, and they go off into left field, start telling people everything, telling them price, all this kind of stuff that we teach you not to do. And so if you're diligent about following the process, then you would find somewhere in this conversation that you fell out of the process and ended up somewhere. He asked a question, you didn't turn it to a 3-way call, and now it turns into he wants the slides, and you didn't tee up the 3-way call. And so like that, you fell off of the process. And if you were diligent about following the process and you go back to where you fell off the process, the next time it happens, you're less likely to fall out of the process into kind of a no man's land where you're not controlling the outcome of the conversation. And so that's just it's a mindset of understanding the principles of following a process, and understanding when you fall off the process, it means something happened, and then identifying what question did he ask? What did he hit you with? Like, it happens all the time. I mean, it's going to happen. Like, you go on a listing appointment and someone asks you a question, they punch you in the nose with a question you didn't see coming, and you're like, shit, I don't know what to say. Blah, 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 and you start, you
throw up EXP.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. So that's a key thing to try to have this awareness around is, okay, well, I know what the process is, and I didn't, and the end result and someone asking questions and showing interest in EXP was to get them on a 3-way call, and I didn't. Why? Well, they asked a question I didn't see coming, and and I answered it, and I went ahead and sent it to them. Okay, well, what should you have done differently? I think you would have agree with that, but know that the outcome of that conversation should have been to get them on a 3-way call, and that's if they know that, if we think that they know the model. Otherwise, it's get them to watch the video, but no kind of pay attention to that is all I would say. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, and a lot of you guys are asking questions around what to say. Invite. If you want to watch one of the best conversations, I had Andre LaFountain on Expert Mentors Live last week, and I'll repost it in this thread. Watch that. That is probably one his. And Dan Hillsman's Expert Mentors Live. And for you guys that don't know, Expert Mentors Live is just an ongoing series that we do every Wednesday at noon Central. I've got Cindy Featherstone Shields on tomorrow. She's a powerhouse, been a longtime client of ours down in Tyler, Texas. You guys definitely want to tune in. But the 2 must watch around agent attraction is going to be Dan Hillsman and Andre LaFountain. It will like, and then the training, right? You watch that and you get the training, you're gonna be like, oh, I get it. Okay, got it. It makes so much sense. I got it, right? And they just really break it down to, they just follow the process. And then they share their success around just following the process. 18 months ago, Andre LaFountain had 5 frontline, 20 in his organization. When we did Expert Mentors last week, 30 frontline, 32 frontline cuz, and 205 in his organization in 18 months. Plus, he helped Jay and Al get another 25 during that time frame.
Yeah. 40 hours a week. While working 40 hours a week, he did that.
Yeah. Unbelievable. You guys got to watch it. That'll help your mindset, your belief that, okay, these guys are rock stars. They just follow the process. They don't have to, neither one of them mega team, right? They don't have massive teams. So like, how did they do it? And they're doing it where it's duplicatable, right? And so anybody can go watch what they're doing and do it. It doesn't take, some magic, or I've got this big, massive team to be able to do that. So that is key. The other thing I wanted to point out here as we wrap up, you don't just leave it up to chance that they're going to fill it out. You want to try to walk them through that as much as you can.
Yes. Yep.
As much as you can, even like
hey,
Zoom or in person.
Here, hey, let me I'm going to send you a link here. We're going to do it on Zoom, and I'm going to walk you through the next step. Yep. And then walk them through, because they're going to have, if they have questions, you want to be able to answer them.
Yeah. Walk them through it. 100%.
You want them to make sure they pick your name in the process.
Oh man. I love all the questions and the engagement. We've been doing calls like this for the last 10 years and, every week. And so, we know how painful it is without the engagement and the questions. So we greatly appreciate you guys jumping in, asking questions. I wish we could see all of the names through the thread here, just inside of StreamYard. Just if you're not permission or something, we can't see the name. So I love all the throw out. No, we're not cousins, more like brothers, but that's a long story. And it starts with our good Coach Cliff. You guys know Cliff Freeman. That's where that started. So it's good, man. Damn, 60 minutes already.
Good day.
Holy moly. Well, happy Thanksgiving, all of you, except for the Canadians. They've already had their Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Hope you guys have some great plans, some good family time. Be safe if you're traveling. And man, if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out. And we hope we'll see you guys next week at boot camp.
You got it.
Awesome. Cuz, appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a great day, everybody.
We'll see you.